Today we're going to continue to learn letters that begin with an undercurve at the base line. They are the letters H, K, and B. These are all letters that will go up to the headline. Watch as I make the letter H. Beginning at the base line with an undercurve, going clear up to the headline, then loop around, slant down to the baseline, pause, retrace, an overcurve, then a slant back down to the baseline, an undercurve up to the midline for the finish. Let's look at the letter H again. Remember, the letter H begins at the baseline with an undercurve to the headline, make a loop and slant back down to the baseline, pause slightly and a little retrace as you come back up to the midline with the overcurve, slant, and then a finish. Undercurve, slant, overcurve, slant, and finish. Hold your pencils in the air and let's trace the letter H. Ready? Undercurve, slant, pause, retrace, overcurve, slant, finish. Sit up tall, check your writing position, hold the paper, and get ready to write the H. Put your pencil on the baseline. Begin. Undercurve, slant, pause, retrace, overcurve, slant, and an undercurve for the finish. We can make the letter H to the numerical count of 3. Watch as I do this. 1, 2, 3. All right. I would like for you to put your pencil on the baseline, and I will count for you to 3 as you make your H. Ready? Write. 1, 2, 3. Look at your H. Look at my H. Check to see if you started at the baseline, that you went clear up to the headline, that you made a loop as you pulled back down to the baseline with a slant, that you retraced at this point and then made an overcurve to the midline, and then a slant back down to the baseline, and that your undercurve for the finish came up to the midline. We can use the letter H in writing the word his. Here's the H, the letter I, and the letter S, and dot the I. Now watch as I write that for you. Beginning at the baseline, first the letter H, now coming from that we go up right to the I, but then back down with the slant, now the S, with the undercurve, now a little retrace, we curve back around, tie, and then an undercurve for the finish, and dot the I. Hold your pencil in the air and trace the word his. Ready? First the H with the undercurve, then the slant, pause, retrace, overcurve, slant, now the I, undercurve, slant, the S, undercurve, retrace, curve back around, tie, undercurve for the finish, and dot the I. Now I would like for you to write the word his on your paper. Put your pencil on the baseline. Ready? Write. First the H, undercurve, loop around, slant, pause, retrace, overcurve, slant, now the I, undercurve, slant, the S, undercurve, retrace, curve back around and tie, then an undercurve for the finish, and dot the I. Look at your word and look at my word. Check to see that the H comes clear up to the headline and that the other part of the H, the overcurve, as well as the I, come just to the midline, and that the S is slightly above. Also check to see that your letters stayed on the baseline. Look at the spacing between the letters, and it should be about the same. Now I would like for you to look at our next letter, the letter K. It begins at the baseline with an undercurve up to the headline, loop around as you come back down to the baseline with your slant, pause, slight retrace, overcurve to the midline, around, then a slant, and undercurve for the finish. Similar to the H, but a little bit different. Undercurve, slant, retrace, overcurve, around, slant, finish. Now watch as I make a K for you on the board. Undercurve, slant, pause, retrace, overcurve to the midline, around, then slant, undercurve for the finish. Hold your pencils in the air and make a K as I trace this one. Ready? Undercurve, slant, pause, retrace, overcurve, around, slant, undercurve for the finish. Now you write it. Ready? Put your pencil on the baseline. Begin. Undercurve, slant, little retrace, now an overcurve to the midline, around, now the slant to the baseline, and undercurve for the finish. We can do the letter K to the numerical count of 4. Watch as I do this. This would be number 1, the undercurve. Back down would be 2. Then the overcurve and around is 3. Then slant and undercurve would be the 4. Now I would like for you to try that. Pencils on the baseline. Ready? I will count for you. Begin. 1. Now pull back down. 2. Now you're at the baseline. Come to the overcurve for 3. And around, slant, now 4 for the finish. Look at your K and look at my K. Check yourself to see that you started at the baseline, that you came up to the headline, made a loop and pulled down with a slant to the baseline again, then a little retrace and then an overcurve, around, a slant back down to the baseline, and an undercurve for the finish. Now I would like for you to see if you can find the letter K hidden in this picture. There's a picture of a kite. Look carefully. I bet you already know where that K is. And there it is. I'd like for you to watch now as I write the word kite using that letter K. Again, beginning at the baseline, up to the headline, slant, pause, or retrace with the overcurve, around, slant. Now I'm going to come up and make the letter I. The letter I comes back down to the baseline with a slant. The letter T. Now notice the T is not as tall as the letter K. And then letter E. Make a nice loop, slant, undercurve. Now dot the I and cross the T. Hold your pencils in the air and we will trace the word kite. Ready? Undercurve, slant, retrace, overcurve, around, slant. Now the I. Undercurve, slant, the T, undercurve, up a little bit taller, slant. Now the E, undercurve, loop, slant, and an undercurve for the finish. Dot the I and cross the T. Put your pencils at the baseline and we will write this word. Ready? First the letter K. Undercurve, slant, pause, retrace, around, slant. Now the I. Undercurve, slant. The T, undercurve, a little taller, slant. Now the E. Undercurve, make the loop, slant, and undercurve for the finish. Dot the I, cross the T. Look at your word kite and compare it with mine. Check to see that the K comes up to the headline and that the T comes partway between the midline and the headline. That the rest of the letter K, the I, and the E come up to the midline, that the letters sit on the baseline, and that you have about the same amount of space between each one of your letters. Now let's look at the word kite one more time. Here's the K. Now coming up for the letter I, the T, and the letter E. Dot the I and cross the T. Check your writing position. Check to make sure that you're holding your paper and pencil correctly. Now I'm going to teach you how to make the letter B. It begins at the baseline, just like the H and K, with an undercurve up to the headline, loop around back to the baseline with a slant, then an undercurve to slightly above the midline, a little retrace, and a finish back up to the midline. Hold your pencils in the air and make the letter B as I trace this one. Ready? Right. Undercurve, slant, undercurve, retrace, finish. Now put your pencil at the baseline and be ready to write the letter B. Ready? Begin. Undercurve, slant, undercurve, retrace, finish. We can make the letter B to the count of 3. Watch as I do that. Beginning at the baseline with the undercurve, that will be number 1. Then the slant and this undercurve will be 2. The little retrace and the finish will be 3. I would like for you to make that now to my count. Ready? Put your pencil at the baseline. Begin. 1, 2, 3. Look at yours and look at mine. Now I would like to see if you can find the letter B hidden in this picture. Here's a picture of a bike. Look down around the bottom of the wheel. Have you found it yet? There is the letter B. Now we're going to use the letter B to make the word bike. Watch as I do that. The B beginning at the baseline. Now watch how I connect this to the I with that little undercurve, then the K, which is another one of the letters you learned today, and the E, and dot the I. Let's look at that word again. Here's the letter B, beginning the word bike. Now the I, the K, the E, and dot the I. I'd like for you to practice that word for your next lesson, as well as the letters H and K.